Hello, this is Roger Bomrick. We've come to Pauillac, one of the great red wine appellations of Bordeaux and the world, to visit the fabled estate of first-growth Chateau Latour. While the wines of this district are, like other Bordeaux, blends of several grape types, it is Cabernet Sauvignon which reigns supreme in Pauillac. Here, the properties are generally larger than elsewhere in the Médoc. An old maxim says that the best vineyards are within sight of the water. So it is with Chateau Latour, whose vines are planted on a large dome of gravel a short distance from the Gironde. The location of Chateau Latour, very close to the river, plays a very important role in the quality of the wines. As you can see, the vineyard itself begins less than 1,000 feet from the water. The lower land is too rich, too wet. It's called the palu. The upper level on the beds of gravel is ideal. The Gironde is at its widest here, well over 4 miles wide, and it acts as a thermal protection for the vineyards of Chateau Latour. In years when others have been devastated by frost, like 1956 or even 1991, the damage at Latour was minimal. The wine known today as Chateau Latour has enjoyed a very high reputation since the late Middle Ages. At the time, it also seems that the wine was a deep red in color, unlike the pale, thin clairets of the day. By the early 1700s, Latour had an enviable reputation in England and in Northern Europe. By 1787, Thomas Jefferson had discovered the wine at a time when it commanded a price 20 times higher than a basic Bordeaux. It's no surprise that in 1855 it was classified as a Premier Cru Classé. As always, it is a wine known for its power, its depth, its authority, and its remarkable longevity. The Latour estate comprises 193 acres of vineyard. The heart of the property, called L'Enclos, is 116 acres in size. It is this piece of land that is dedicated to the Grand Vin, Chateau Latour itself. Centuries of outstanding vintages have provided all the proof needed of the quality of this site. Indeed, it is the embodiment of the concept of terroir, the perfect combination of soil, subsoil, grape varieties, climate, and human savoir-faire. The soil at Chateau Latour is very particular. This is called Gunsian gravel, after the era in geological history. But it's the second phase of the Gunsian period, when the gravel was larger, for example, than the gravel that was deposited at Lafitte and Mouton here in Pauillac. It's the combination of a thick, gravelly layer that could be from 2 feet to well over 3 feet in thickness, with a subsoil of clays and of marls that gives Chateau Latour its noteworthy strength and vigor. Grapes arrive through a bay at the top level in small plastic crates. At Latour, Cabernet Sauvignon reigns supreme, representing 4/5 of plantings. Merlot makes up most of the balance, with small amounts of Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot. The grapes undergo 2 careful sortings on a conveyor belt, first to remove leaves and less than perfect berries. Then, after gentle separation of the fruit from the stems, a second tri or sorting controls any remaining fragments of woody matter. The grapes then move to a crusher and flow by gravity into the fermentation tanks. The Cuvier, or vat room, was renovated in 2001 and contains 66 stainless steel vats ranging from about 1,600 to 4,500 U.S. gallons in capacity. The variation in size allows the property the luxury of fermenting each vineyard parcel separately. Some tanks are straight-sided, others conical in shape. The tanks are encircled by belts through which water circulates to regulate the temperature of the fermenting juice. All the tanks are linked to a central control panel that stands watch as if on the bridge of a battleship. There is only one lot of Chateau Latour, an extraordinary blending tank that holds the equivalent of 300,000 standard bottles of wine, assures absolute consistency in the finished product. Every bottle, in other words, contains the identical wine. The barrel cellar is divided in two on separate levels. In the upper or first-year cellar, the first few months of wood maturation help decide which lots are of the standard for the Grand Vin, the wine bottled as Chateau Latour. This process also determines the final composition of Les Forts de Latour and the generic Pauillac. This is also the point at which the press wine is incorporated. Then the assemblage or blend is completed, a critical step. The Grand Vin will be aged entirely in new oak, while Les Forts generally sees half new barrels. Following the first summer after vintage, the wine will be brought to the lower cellar for further aging of 10 to 13 months. Around a year after being transferred to barrel, it is fined or gently clarified with egg whites. Bottling at Latour takes place under rigorous conditions in the northwestern corner of the winery. The environment is hygienic and a quiet, efficient calm prevails. A team of young women wraps each bottle in branded tissue paper, twists the top, and the bottles are then placed tower facing up in wood boxes. Bottling generally takes place in June, and the wine is kept for several months before it is released. Chateau Latour takes its name, of course, from a tower, but it's not the one that you see here now on the property. At an earlier point in history, in the 1300s and 1400s, there was another tower, the Tower of Saint-Lambert, to the south of the property, along the Juillac River. It no longer exists. The one that is presently standing was built perhaps between 1620 and 1630, using the stones, they guess, of that earlier fortress. A lucky visitor to Chateau Latour has the chance to visit another cellar, the Library of Old Vintages. You are transported back in time as the gates swing open and you come face to face with vintages fabulous and rare. Such wines conjure up images of those periods in history. There's the 1863 vintage, which the famous British authority Michael Broadbent tasted in 1970, saying it was a very great wine and a perfect drink. You can only imagine what these wines would taste like now if only you were able to pull a cork or two. And what exactly were my first impressions of the 2007 Latour? The new vintage of Latour is the result of a severe selection. It represents only 41% of the estate's production in this vintage. Still in barrel, the wine exhibits a dark mulberry color with a purple rim. The aroma is cool and restrained, as you would expect of such a young wine in the primary phase of its life. On the palate, it is subtle and supple, beautifully poised, and more approachable than most Latours at this early stage. It is interesting to note that the 2007 contains more Cabernet Sauvignon than usual, 91%, with Merlot comprising the rest of the blend. Well, you've had a chance to see the inside of Bordeaux, how a great wine property works today, and the extraordinary lengths that winemakers go to produce a truly exceptional product. It's been my pleasure to be your guide, and I hope you'll come visit this marvelous region. So, au revoir et à bientôt, j'espère.